I ate ultra-processed foods, so I don't think that's a new one. I mean, I ate mac and cheese and that sort of stuff growing up, you know.
And you're fine? Is that
I'm fine, yeah, I think, right? Am I fine, know. Katie? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I could wear a 2-piece bathing suit in my 40s if I owned processed food.
Leaders from Asheville and Buncombe County.
From the newsroom to the nursery.
We're juggling a demanding career on live TV with the demands of motherhood.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Karen.
They are AnchorMoms.
Hi, Katie.
Hey, Karen. So we're doing our annual swimsuit season.
It is. It's April.
It's swimsuit
It's that
season.
time.
Karen was like, we got to do our swimsuit.
The listeners are dying to know what Katie Killen has to say about what swimsuits we should wear.
No listeners are dying for what
I think they are. Listen, I think that, and I always appreciate your advice because I do feel like you hit this stage where you are in your 40s, you're a mom, you don't want to wear a string bikini, obviously. But you know, a lot of—
Is that obvious?
Well, it's obvious for me. I do not want to. But I do feel like it's very hard. We're not wearing skirts. We're not wanting to look like a frumpy mom. So we're trying to find that balance of hip, trendy, a little bit cute, but still some coverage. It's kind of a fine line. And I think a lot of women our age are in the same boat.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I've been like shopping around online and trying to look for things. And I think it's hard because I think a lot of stores are aware of this. So they offer kind of a wide range maybe.
Sure.
And so I'm always just kind of like, I mean, I was texting you like, is this okay? Is this too momish?
Yeah.
Is this too not momish? Like, it's just a tough thing. So we appreciate your advice.
Okay. Well, I don't have I have purchased a couple of new bathing suits. In fact, one of them was a link from Moms a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So you might need to go back an episode or so.
Remind me of the name of that company.
I knew you were going to ask me this, right?
It starts with an S, I feel like.
Does it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it does. Skoda. Mm-hmm. Yes. Anyway, I think their bathing suits are super affordable. One of our friends got actually the same bathing suit that I have because they're so cute. They're kind of, the ones that I got are kind of like vintage inspired, which, you know, is kind of my jam, but I know it's not everybody's jam. It has strawberries on it. And then I got another one that was like polka dot. So here's my thing. If you're going to get a one piece, like you're just a mom. You didn't die. So it's okay.
We didn't?
No. It's okay to like show a little bit more skin in your one piece. This is like the conversation I just had a couple of weeks ago at dinner, right? Is like, I like a little like high cut, like leg high cut.
Or you could do a little maybe lower cut in the front.
You could do a little lower cut in the front,
something.
A little scoop in the back. I'm not much of one for like showing a lot of cleavage, to be totally honest. Like that's not my jam. But if that is your jam, I think you should totally embrace that. I also, and this will not surprise anybody, like I like a lot of print, a lot of color. Like I just like something that's interesting. Like I don't want just like a plain old. I do have one solid blue one piece bathing suit that I think is cute. But beyond that, I want a little something.
Yeah. Did you get that one I sent you?
I did. Karen sent me one and was like, this bathing suit is so you. It was on sale. And I was like, done. I get a lot of my bathing suits through Anthropologie. They have a bunch. They have literally dozens and dozens. And
they do have a lot.
They have a lot of different brands. So if like you're not sure of like a specific brand that you like a lot of brands will like Farm Rio is a bathing suit that I is a brand, but they also distribute to Anthropologie. I like L Space, another brand, Vitamin A.
I'm taking notes.
Oh, stop. You are not.
No, I am. Because I just think you have to like go look at them and see.
Yeah.
You know?
I do. Yeah. I mean, this is like controversial as well. I still like a high-waisted bathing suit top.
2-piece.
Yep.
Or
I'm sorry, bathing suit bottom. Yep.
I knew what you meant.
Yep. I still like that.
What was I was on, I clicked some link the other day and the bathing suit section came up and I'm
What?
not kidding.
Bad?
It was like the full a full body like with a short, like it was like the 1950s.
So
Like where they used to have shorts connected to the top, like a romper almost bathing suit, but it was tight. I was like, what is happening
was it
here?
cute?
No. In fact, I said something to somebody in the newsroom. I was like, wait, is this happening? Like, what's going on? And they're like, that's not happening. Don't do that. That's like somebody's trying to like try something different and it's not going to work.
I don't like tankinis. Those are like a no for me.
Is that where, because it's the tank top and then the bottoms.
Just like what's happening there. No, I don't want that. I have seen, but this is the funny thing is sometimes I think like you think, oh, I like need to cover up. But sometimes like the more material and the tighter it is, the
worse it looks.
Yeah, or like the more model like you need to be. Does that make sense? Like I saw a bathing suit that was like it was like a t-shirt, like it was like a but then had like kind of like a skimpy bottom. And I was like, you would have to be so thin to be able to like look like the model was like in perfect shape because it's like I just don't think that would be
suitable for most people.
Yeah.
So what about like the somersault and like the ones that all moms get? I feel like,
I have a lot of somersault bathing suits. I haven't even looked at them this year, and I'm kind of a little bit like over it.
Yeah, that is one thing. I don't want to get the bathing suit that like everybody else is gonna have.
And I feel like somersault. There was a couple of summers there where like everybody had on the same color blocking. You know, the somersault's big into color blocking a lot. So.
Okay, well, thanks.
I don't know if that was helpful.
Thanks for all of your advice.
Was that helpful? I don't know. I'm just telling you like what I like. What do you like?
No, I think you're right. I mean, I think if it's going to be a one piece, we need to have something fun about it, right? I do think it's hard because, especially like I think like we go to a beach trip with Gregory's work each summer, and it's just that line of like, you want it to be cute and look nice, but you're also chasing kids and you're with other parents. And like, you don't want to be in that category where it's like, oh, there's definitely suits you would like maybe wear on a Caribbean vacation with your husband that you wouldn't wear to the community pool every day. So yeah. And it's just hard because our bodies are just like kind of, I don't know, at least mine, I feel like is in just like a different place than it was 20 years ago. It was funny. We were kind of having this conversation in the newsroom, and then one of the younger girls was like, wait, what kind of bathing suits? And she was kind of chiming in, and it was just making me think back to my 20s and how
bathing suits
and how, you don't have a care in the world because you're 20 and you're like, well, whatever.
Yeah. I know. I can't even remember the bathing suits.
Like there was one I was looking at the other day, and I was like, I feel like one of my, like, there would be a wardrobe malfunction with that suit. Like I can't do that. Well, you're like crazy when your kids are little and you're chasing after them at the beach or the pool. Like, oof. Yeah. Like if it's like a tie situation, I'm like, oh gosh, I could just see Sam like pulling a tie, and then it's all over. It's all over in our community pool. Yeah, and then we get kicked out, and then we can't go to the pool. All right. This first article is from BuzzFeed. This will become the smoking of our generation. People are sharing current parenting trends that are going to lose popularity. Okay, there's a long list here, so I'm not going to go through all of them, but I thought there were some of these that were really good. It's just kind of a lot of people chiming in on things that we're doing now that in a decade or so, who knows the time period.
Like, are all these people complaining? Are they like 75-year-old grandmas?
No, I think a lot of these, I agree with some of these.
Really? Some of these I was like, does this happen?
No, this happens. Yeah, this happens.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of these happen. Ones? A lot of them, it's never saying no to children. You definitely know those moms who are like, I'm not going to tell my kid no. Like, that's gentle parenting. Overscheduling children. Some of these, I think, are very specific to our current time period. And some of them, I feel like probably every generation could complain about. Right. Like some of them are a little bit more generic.
Some of these are like a little bit snarky. Like, I don't know.
Timeouts are bad. I think this is a new thing that now, like we always went to timeout when
you were a kid?
Yeah, and I think that's
Do you
newer.
time out your kids now?
Yeah, we don't necessarily call it that. They go to the calming corner. Calm down. But yeah, we do say you need to take a break. But I think a lot of people don't do that anymore.
We don't do, I mean, we don't do that. But
Yeah.
not because I think it's like bad, just because it just, I don't know. We just don't do it.
yeah.
We just don't do it. Timeouts.
Waiting so long to potty train. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, does that happen? That was like one of the ones that I was like, I don't know.
I think some
Why
people
are people
do.
being so like
Um,
snarky?
not teaching kids to deal with negative emotions.
See, I think there's like a huge push on that
I agree.
nowadays. Like,
I would almost say the opposite.
Yeah, like nowadays I feel like, I mean, Brian would tell you that I'm like overly like conscious of like trying to like listen to River and listen to what she says.
I think that we didn't do that when we were little.
Right,
Like,
but
I don't
this is
ever
like-
feel like I could say to my mom or dad, like, I'm having some negative, or, I'm going through this. I don't think we're as open. So that one, I don't know that I agree with. Helicopter parenting, beige everything. I don't think that really matters, but I do think that's a weird thing. I wonder, the main takeaway to me, there were several of these kind of different examples, but basically they said the biggest thing that down the road people will say this was the smoking of our generation
Yeah.
is kids' screen time.
Yeah, I think so too.
And there was lots of examples of that, whether that's letting your kids, as teenagers be online, or letting your baby watch an iPad, or, just in general, everything to do with screens, social media, all of that, us posting our own kids online. So I would agree with that. I think that's going to be one of those. I don't know. It's so interesting to me because I can't see us going. I wish, but I don't see us going back the other direction and like not having, technology. It's not like one day it's going to trend out, right? And then all of a sudden we don't have the internet on our phone and we don't have social media. I don't think. So I'm not really sure how that plays out long term, but I do think that down the road, I have to believe it's going to swing back somehow.
Yeah.
But I'm just not sure how logistically that would work. Does that make sense? Like,
well, and also like I think it's unwise not to let your kid
do it at all.
Do it at all, because like
mhm.
that's like also the wave of the
Mhm.
future. So if your
Mhm.
kid like is handed an iPad for the first time when they're like 15, it's like,
right.
how does that work? Yeah.
But I do think that, I think there's some truth to that. But it is interesting the things that people said are going to lose popularity, and
Cry it out sleep training. That was like another thing that they were like,
Mhm. Parents always being there. Ultra processed foods.
yeah.
But I mean, I ate ultra processed foods, so I don't think that's a new one. I mean, I ate mac and cheese and that sort of stuff growing up,
And you're fine? Is that
I'm
what you-
fine. Yeah, I think, right? Am I
I don't
fine,
know.
Katie? I don't know.
Yeah. It's
Maybe
just-
I could wear a 2-piece bathing suit in my 40s if I ultra processed food.
Yeah, some of these, like I said, I feel like some of these are like grandparents, like
curmudgeon-y.
yeah, like
Mhm.
exclusively breastfeeding rather than bottle or breast and bottle when needed, or limited and inconsistent parental leave.
Yeah, it was a bit of a confusing
Yeah,
list, but
like,
I think
I was
some
like,
of them
I
were.
don't-
I think some of them were spot on.
Yeah. It's interesting. Every single one of those, though, you probably have something to say about it.
Yeah.
Like somebody has some sort of, you have
Mhm.
some sort of opinion on all of them.
Do you have a mums for us?
I do. And this is funny. This is like a Karen moms.
Oh.
So you're welcome. I don't know. This is not something normally, but so many people have asked us about them at this point. So, River plays soccer.
Mm-hmm.
And she's in first grade. So as you can imagine, like shin guards and socks and all that are like a real pain in the butt. So last year she had just the traditional shin guards and would like complain about them all the time, that they hurt, that they were itchy. Like they were the ones that went over and then like kind of strapped to the shin.
Mm-hmm.
And so Brian found these ones. I'm sure he found them on Instagram, because like that's he always is like finding little like widgets on Instagram for our life. But these are called the ShinDefenders. And
Is it like a sleeve?
Yes.
Mhm.
Have you seen these?
They're great. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny, like I said, like we'll be at the side, but like the other parents are like, wait, what are those? Like, where'd you get those? Like our kids hate those like traditional ones. It's funny. The ones that we have are they're like expensive. They're like $40.
Mhm.
I had to look them up. Like I didn't buy them. Brian bought them. And I was like, oh, did we pay $40 for these? But she
If you play
wears
soccer
them
every week,
2 to 3
yeah.
times a
Mhm.
week. Like, and it's worth it. And, presumably these will fit her for like a couple of seasons.
Yeah.
There's ShinDefender.com. They're washable. They're
Mm.
soft. They don't have a lot of ankle protection. That's one of the things. Like if that's like something as your kids get older, you're a little concerned about. But they make them in all the sizes, like adults, kids. I have a funny feeling that you can find a knockoff on Amazon. I didn't browse too long, but I think I saw some of them. But these are ShinDefenders.com. We'll post them in the show notes. And yeah, $39.95.
It's funny. We have we have hand-me-down sets of shin guards, both kinds, and Henry actually prefers the traditional shin guards to the sleeve one. But I think if you're younger,
that's what I'm saying.
It's so
like,
much easier.
If you have a
like
kid,
he can do them himself now,
right?
If
you have a kid that is,
like
sensory stuff, like
or even like just like that 4, 5, 6, up to the older kids.
Yeah, because they're uncomfortable,
and they're hard to like get in the right place,
right?
And
exactly. Yeah,
I love it.
Okay, there you go. There's your mums. Okay, moving right along. This third article is from second article. What? Like, what's going on with me? I'm like
moving
everywhere
through today.
I know. The second article is from yahoo.com, and the title is this right? Yes. Okay. Boredom is good for kids. Here's why, and how parents can help them embrace it. I will tell you, River tells me she's bored at least like 4 times a week. And I'm always like, good. Go find like something to do. And I swear it's because like River gets home from school and she like jumps on the she's so used to like going to the next thing. And then when she's at home, she's like, well, what am I going to do? And I'm like, well, you have 625 different like toys. So please go play with them. And it just talks about, this article talks about, millennial, like we grew up kind of straddling that analog and digital world. And so when we were kids, like there was like, if you were in the car on a long car ride, like now River has her iPad to watch, but like you just had to like hang out. You had to like play car games. And it talks about how opportunities for kids to be bored, like running errands with their parents, having to wait in line at the post office, taking a long trip without endless entertainment. Those don't exist anymore. They seem to be constantly scheduled or have access to a tablet or their parent's smartphone. And I do think this is like really true. The last podcast we talked about River's musical ending. And it's funny, like even that, like River was so used to, that's the problem now is now she comes home from school. She was going from school to musical practice twice a week. And now she's like, she gets home and she's like,
what do I do?
What, like aren't I supposed to be like doing something? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Like go read a book, go do whatever. And this article talks about just the benefits of that. This is where creativity comes about. This is where your kids get new ideas and find new hobbies. One poll says the average American parent has to come up with 4 new activities daily to keep their kids entertained. And U.S. kids now get bored in 33 minutes. And kids have a lower tolerance for boredom today because of screens, just what kind of we were talking about. But being bored fosters patience, problem solving, and distress tolerance.
Yeah. I will certainly tell you I'm not coming up with 4 new activities daily for my kids.
Yeah.
I mean, every once in a while I'll say like, okay, what I think the biggest thing, and it talks about this in the article, is boredom is really, it's not just, I don't know, I don't have anything to do. It's more, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And that anxiety and that nervousness around like what you're saying. And just like, sometimes kids are like, I don't know. What am I supposed to be doing now? Like it's this unscheduled time, like uncharted territory. Right. What do I do? And a lot of times I think they either don't know which direction to go or there's too many choices. Right. And you're like, oh, should I go do this or this or this? Like, And I feel like for my kids, a lot of times it's just like, I mean, even sometimes I will just get out a game or a toy or something that hasn't been out in circulation lately and just leave it.
Yeah.
And then somebody will stumble upon it and they're happy for an hour.
Yeah.
I think it's just helping them and pushing them a little bit to be comfortable in that space.
Yeah.
Of I don't know where to go next and figuring out even with a
Yeah.
little prompt maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is definitely true. I think that there's just such a difference now in day-to-day life and
Yeah.
just the busyness and also the ability to just say, here, watch a show,
I know.
or do something on, a device. Yeah, it's interesting.
Well,
I think we need more of it. I think we need more boredom.
Yeah, like right, exactly.
Mhm.
Like I don't remember when I was a kid, like saying like, I'm bored, because like your whole life was like one long, like maybe you got on AIM, but do you know what I mean? Like you had to like just make up your own fun.
This past weekend, the LRA, I'm sorry, one of my children's names, Bennett and Sam, woke up early and were like, hey, can we, and it was a weekend, and Gregor and I were like, oh, it'd be nice to sleep in a little bit longer. And they were like, hey, can we go in the family room and like find something to do? And I was like, sure, quietly. And so they came back in and they said, we've decided we're going to put on a puppet show. Can you go get the puppet show and like the little stage?
Yeah.
And I was like, sure. So I went down and got it and brought it back up. And like, I mean, it was probably 30 minutes. They never really put on a puppet show, but they like cut out tickets.
Yeah.
And I could hear Bennett being like, Sam, here's how you write a 1. Like put a 1 on all the tickets. And, but you just, there just has to be some sort of spark. Yeah. And then they just go with it.
Into it.
Then they're just doing it.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's hard to find that spark.
Yeah.
This last article is from the Harvard Business School. Children benefit from having a working mom. I guess all the working moms feel a little bit better.
I know. Finally a study that says this.
So it talks about how girls are more likely to have a better job and make more money if their moms worked. Boys, on the other hand, are more likely to do the chores around the house, spend more time with the family if their moms worked. So really, it's applying to both your sons and your daughters if you're a working mom. It doesn't matter. Here's the good news. It doesn't matter how long the mom worked, how much she worked, if she was working a part-time job, a full-time job, what job it was, whether she took time off, any of that. It's just if children are at all exposed to their mother working at some point, it benefited them. And the article says it teaches kids that contributions at home and at work are equally valuable. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. Just that, there's stuff to do outside the house and also inside the house.
And for men, moms who worked outside the homes were more likely to contribute to household chores.
Yeah.
If their moms worked outside of the home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, I agree, of course. I'm hoping that me pursuing a career is beneficial to my children.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing it for, right? Otherwise, we would just...
Well, I mean, we're also doing it for money.
Well, that's true. Yeah. But I mean, I guess...
There's also that like financial...
There's also the need to like put food on the table.
Exactly.
No, but I think, more big picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we want our children to see us following dreams and working hard and doing all the things and hope that that's going to pay off.
And women spent the same amount of time doing home duties, by the way, working outside the home or not. I just had to point that out. Mm-hmm. I just had to point that out. Like it didn't matter.
So you still have to do all the chores.
You still got to do the chores. Sorry.
So I have a win that kind of connects to this article actually,
win.
My mother came to visit for a full week and did all of those chores.
How was it?
That I never get around to doing because I work full time. I mean, organizing the dish towel drawer and the Tupperware drawer and the pantry and all of the, sewing needs that I never get to, and just kind of more of the deep cleaning, organizational things that, you've got that list that's kind of like always going on in your head and you just never really get to it because you're just doing the day-to-day stuff. It was amazing. I'm now like looking around like, okay, guys, how long can we keep this organized the way grandma has it set up? Like the kids' plate drawer and bowls, like so perfectly organized.
Well, so you've been going strong for like a week?
We've been going strong for like a week. I don't know. I'm like, guys, this is like, I don't know when grandma's going to come back. So we got to like keep this going strong.
Yeah.
But big shout out to my mom for doing
know,
all that. It's just those things that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And you don't have time to do if you're a working mom.
Right.
And it's just nice to every once in a while, like kind of, it's like cleansing.
Yeah.
Right. Like, oh my gosh. Okay. Like this isn't just, a drawer full of junk. Like
Yeah.
there's some like rhyme or reason
Right.
to it now. So we'll see how long it lasts.
All right, we'll keep us
But I was
posted.
like, can you please come back every spring and do
And
like
do
a
it. Maybe she
spring
will.
cleaning, deep clean, organizational
Yeah,
overhaul of my home?
maybe she will.
Let's hope so.
Okay.
All right. Hope everyone has a great week.
Bye, guys. Anchor Moms is a Sinclair podcast produced out of WLOS in Asheville. We're your hosts, Katie Killen and Karen Zakalak. Anchor Moms is edited by Matthew Yates.
For more information on the topics discussed in this episode and to stay up to date on future episodes, follow us on Instagram @AnchorMom.
You can follow Anchor Moms on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Know a parent who could benefit from this week's Anchor Moms episode? Your recommendations help our show to grow, so spread the word.